Hi everyone, welcome back to the Perkins Custom Swim Bait channel. You know, today is going to be an exciting episode, and I know I've been kind of hit or miss here recently. Just had some things going on and really haven't been able to get a chance to edit and get videos out. So hopefully we can get that frequency back up. But today's episode, we are going to be talking about swim bait color. You know, I think this is probably one of the hottest debated topics within the swim baiting world and probably within fishing in general. You know, if you go down any aisle of Bass Pro or any tackle shop out there, you know, you see colors galore. Whether it be crawdad patterns, shad patterns, chartreuses, oranges, reds, what's the game plan? So I want to give you my take on it, specific as to how it kind of applies with the big glide baits, but really I kind of take this same approach with all of my baits. But I really want to talk about it from the hard bait standpoint, because this is what I make, so you can kind of think about it in terms of, I spend a lot of time and hours building these baits, and I try to make it to where it's a one-time paint. I'm not going in and scrubbing and trying to do all that. So what I'm really getting at with that is, if I'm going to take the time to make it and then paint it, you can see that I'm actually willing to throw it. That's really why I'm emphasizing the time that I'm actually putting into building the bait, is because if I'm going to put that kind of time into building it, I actually want to be able to fish with it and have confidence in it. So let's go ahead and go through my colors and some of the scenarios as to why I fish what I fish and then when I fish it. So number one, before we even get into any bit of this, is understanding water and your water type, your water clarity, where you're at in the country. For me and where I fish, I am on highland reservoirs in East Tennessee. Within those highland reservoirs, I'm predominantly focused on catching all three species of black bass, so the spot, the largemouth, and the smallmouth. So, you know, I have all these opportunities in the sense of which species I really want to target. Now, being on highland reservoirs, for the most part, they're all canyon-style lakes, steep bluff walls, deep water. You know, many of our lakes in our area have upwards of, 100 to 200 feet in different areas if you go back to if you get on the historic river channel. So you kind of get to see all that deep water. But with that deep water typically comes clear, cleaner water, which is one of the reasons why our smallmouth do so well in my area. We do have a really nice population of smallmouth, and they do get to pretty good size. With that said, we also do rather well with our largemouth on the lakes that have a lot of brush and laydowns in them. So let's kick it off with where I start as my overall approach. If I could only have, one color, just one. And if I could only have one color, what I'm going to do is go with natural. And by natural, I mean some sort of gizzard shad. But this is not really just gizzard shad, and I want you to kind of know that it matches just about anything. As you can see, this one's got a lot of hook rash. It's caught a lot of fish for me. I've actually, I've just had all kinds of fun throwing this bait. It's been a great bait for me. So the key here is natural. Looks just kind of like a shad, looks a little bit like a trout. We do have a large portion of trout in our lakes here. As you can tell, I don't have the hooks on this one. This one's a little bit of a newer bait. It's got a little bit of more of a green hue to it. I don't know if you can kind of tell that. This one being more of your purple gizzard or your dark purple gizzard. I throw that a lot. So with that clear water, this is the way I kind of think about it. If I have clear water and I have bright bluebird or partly cloudy skies, I do like the darker colors. So something like this purple gizzard, the dark purple gizzard. But now this is a good all-around color too. Don't mistake it for, it only works on, clear water. It works across the board. I've had more success on something like this for numbers and volume of fish than I have any other color. But as you'll notice, I do have plenty of different changes, different times when I will switch and go into different colors. So, you know, but predominantly when I'm going out, if I'm just looking to see how good a glide bait bite is, and this is one color that goes with me to the lake every single time I go because it's natural. You know, if in doubt, go natural, because you will end up getting on fish 9 times out of 10. That's at least my rule of thumb, is if I'm really looking for a bite and I'm trying to find them, I'll go about as natural as I possibly can to start. Now, let's say, so I went out this past weekend and we went to what is considered by me, as well as most, to have one of the clearest lakes in my area. This lake has upwards of 20 to 30 feet of visibility regularly. However, this go around it did not. Well, the water was dirty. Had about probably 3 to 5 foot visibility depending on where you were at in the lake. So I ended up still throwing a big bait, still throwing a glide bait. But what I did is I went to a chartreuse bait. Now, this is where I think it gets kind of fun when you start getting into these colors. Because if in doubt and you could only buy one bait, definitely go natural as possible. If I could have 2 baits, I would probably take a bold color, and if it were up to me, I would either probably go with chartreuse or bone. And this is a bone that I've made. It's got a little bit, you know, of some different flake in it, a little bit of blue highlights. That's a chartreuse, and it's bright. This is the color that I nicknamed smallmouth candy. And, you know, that's just probably part of the icy bone line that I make. But what I'm getting at is, you want a brighter color when that water gets a little bit darker. It helps the fish see. If you think about it from like a spinnerbait standpoint, whenever you get darker, muddy water, you typically throw a white and chartreuse, a chartreuse spinnerbait, or even, you know, just solid white. Thinking about it from that standpoint, think about your crankbaits. You know, you'll throw like something like splatterback from the Strike King line, or even like chartreuse black back, chartreuse powder blue back. You know, something like that, something bright and hot, you know, a big hot color. Now, there is a time, even on clear lakes, when you have that 20, 30 foot visibility and you start slinging hot color baits. What I'm calling these are hot colors just because they're so bright. They're very obnoxious kind of colors and they're in your face. Okay, well, when the fish come after these, and they come after these chartreuse, the bones, you know, this is what I call bubblegum shad, that hot pink. When they're coming after this, they are super aggressive. If you get on a bite and those fish are aggressive, this is the most fun bait to have. They fight over it because they're so aggressive. They're wanting to kill this bait. They want to attack it. They want to just destroy it. This is the most fun that I've ever had fishing a glide bait, is when they're on the hot colors, because they come so aggressive, wanting to just kill it. And they're swiping at it, they're striking at it. It is so much fun to get on a big bait bite when they're on that hot color, because I've never seen them fight for a natural the way they will fight for a hot color. When you get these big bold colors, they just come unglued for it. So you kind of have the polar opposites there, and I get that. Like, you've got this time, it is crystal clear water, and why they will hit a natural one over a bright color, I don't understand that. And then other days they'll hit the bright over that. And it doesn't have to be just smallmouth or spotted bass. Largemouth will go unglued for a chartreuse bait too. They do not like it for whatever reason on certain days. I wish I could explain it, because I mean, I'd love to understand it better. And you know, please, if you've got some like great helpful color tips, please put them down in the comments. I would love to read them, as well as I'm sure most people that are watching. I'd love to know what your go-to confidence colors are, and also kind of describe your water situation. Are you in a lowland or a highland reservoir river system? Do you have clear water most of the time? Do you have dirty water? Just kind of an overview as to why you're choosing the colors that you choose for your body of water. Don't have to give locations or states or which lake it is, but just curious as to the overall setting as to what kind of water clarity you're working with. Lastly, this is a new line that I'm working on, and I'm really happy with how they're turning out. But these are your clears or your transparents. So I hope this is coming through, but you can definitely see as to how transparent these baits are. You know, they have transparent bellies, and when you get fish on these, they are really aggressive on these too, but I think they're aggressive for a different reason. This is more of a bait they're actually wanting to eat. And they get real aggressive, they go after it. But once again, for these transparents, I look at that kind of the same way I do my top waters, or even like some of my natural looking crankbaits. I'm wanting something natural, but I'm wanting to go the extra step, you know, the next step beyond just a natural. I want to go to something that's got a transparent belly to where it looks even more realistic in that super, super clear water. So those are kind of my thoughts when I break down color. I love painting and I love doing that, but at the same time, if I paint a bunch of baits and the baits never get bit, it doesn't really help me at all. I end up with a box full of baits that take up a ton of storage, and you know, you just end up having extra baits everywhere. So I wanted to go through this. I know color is probably one of the most talked about and debated topics within swim baiting and within fishing in general. You know, I listened to a seminar from a really great fisherman, and he went through his kind of talk as far as how many colors he likes to carry of crankbaits. And he specifically had talked, he wants 6 colors. And of those 6, he primarily only throws 3. But you have those other 3 that he uses for special situations and scenarios. And I feel like I'm the same way when it comes to the big baits. I have my primaries that I throw a majority of the time. Now, your other situation can be your low light scenarios, being summertime, early in the morning, late in the evening. Yes, definitely throw your brighter colors in too, because you know, you're helping the fish find it and see it. So to me, that also helps. But hey, I wanted to get on here. I wanted to share my thoughts on color, swim bait color, and specifically glide bait color. But please put your comments down below, kind of give us a breakdown of your favorite colors, what kind they are, and then the scenarios that you're facing. Sounds like the dogs are making their appearance again on the channel. But please put your comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate that, and that helps the YouTube algorithm get it out to more people. And if you've enjoyed this type of content, please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that little subscribe button and the notification bell. Helps you stay up to date when any new videos come out. My schedule is 1 video per week on Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. I've been off of my schedule here recently, and largely that has just been due to you know, some timing on my part as far as things going on. So I'm going to try to get back into my normal schedule. But appreciate everyone for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you in the next video.